Welcome to the first installment of our new sports show called the Halftime Adjustment. So we mainly are going to talk about NFL and NBA. We watch other sports, but we ain't doing all that.
Not like that.
That's too messy. You feel me?
Not enough to talk
Only time
about.
I experiment is in June and July and half August.
Yeah.
That's it. But all right, so how this show works is we're going to spend the first half of the show, roughly about 30 minutes, talking about three topics of either basketball or football, and then we have a halftime adjustment and switch to the last three topics for the opposing and or opposite league. Make sense? Cool. All right, so for today, we're going to start off with NFL. So, Justin, what's the first topic for the day?
First topic in the NFL is we talking about Saquon Barkley, more specifically the running back contracts in the league right now.
Terrible.
They're terrible.
Bro, I don't understand how. Well, okay, I understand, but I don't at the same time how the player that primarily carries the offense. We say it's the quarterback, but that passing game is easy to figure out what scheme that you run if you don't have a good running back. We've seen that plenty of times over and over again that if you have a mediocre quarterback with a trash running back, natural disaster. You feel me?
Absolutely.
It's
half of the Saints seasons for the past couple years.
Well,
but
we
we
ain't
gonna digress from that.
talk
We
about
talking
that.
about these contracts.
we talking about contracts. So right now, from my understanding, Saquon is getting $11 million, right?
That's right. Same
And-
as the franchise tag.
Same as the franchise tag. But the breakdown is he's getting a $2 million signing bonus, right? So that's
right.
up front.
Yep.
And then he has incentives in there, which is $13.50, which is his career high in yards. What is it?
Exactly.
65 catches?
65 catches. Well, first let's backtrack a little bit.
Okay.
So the 1350 is rushing yards.
Rushing yards. Not even
That
combo.
could have been total yards, and I would have felt better. But
That's
that's
crazy.
1,350 rushing yards
That's crazy.
and a playoff berth.
And the
so-
playoff berth, too.
So he
65
could-
catches
65 catches
and 11 total
and 11
touchdowns.
total touchdowns.
That's insane. I feel like that's insane. Like,
And that's to get. So it's really $9 million. Then to get an incentive of $1 million.
Yeah.
He's got to get all those, like, check off all those boxes.
so, like, all right.
It's like $900,000
So-
worth of incentives.
If we're looking at these little check marks he has, like these check boxes he has to achieve, I don't think he's gonna get those rushing yards.
No, of course not.
So that's automatically on top. He's not getting
Of
that.
course not.
They probably, I would say, in that division, they're probably gonna be the third best team. In that
Okay.
division, so they probably won't even make the playoffs.
You got the Cowboys over the Giants next
I think the way they loaded up, yes.
Okay.
They had a lot
I
of
mean,
good
I'm not
talent.
disagreeing. I'm just.
So
yeah.
I mean, we'll get about that later on
Right.
in the segment, but I think so.
Okay.
And as far as the catches, do you really think Daniel gonna pass it like that?
Now he did get a bunch of catches last season. I think he had like 60 or 62 catches last season.
Okay.
But with the addition of Darren Waller,
Exactly.
I think that gets cut in half, or maybe even more than that.
But I mean, so how many short yardage situations are you like? All right, let's be honest. All right, how many times you see Saquon streaking and you gonna bomb it to him? You
Never.
feel what I'm saying? Because
Never.
he's not that type of running back.
Exactly.
To me, he's an athletic freak that is your traditional ground and pound guy. He's just
Absolutely.
more elusive. If
Yeah.
you put Steven Jackson and LaDainian Tomlinson together, that's Saquon to me.
That's tough.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
that's how it is when I see him. But I feel like he's in a Barry Sanders situation.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate too because let's just say even if this is a 1-year deal, even if he got all of the money, he attained everything, they can franchise tag him next year.
Which is insane.
He didn't negotiate not to be franchise tagged the following year, so they still have a way not to pay him, even if he attains all this and they get in the playoffs and all that good stuff.
But I mean, I see that it's the same issue. Like when you think of like Dalvin Cook, has no job right now.
Well, breaking news.
Oh, well, wait. He
Breaking
signed?
news. Well, they talking about it.
Okay.
The talks are really ramping up. The New York Jets are in
That's
talks
fair.
with Dalvin Cook.
That's fair.
Which would be kind of like all right, now the Jets are really serious. They could be an all-star team.
But is the money there?
And that's what I'm interested in seeing. I heard he was looking for like $5 million on a 1-year deal, which in that market is reasonable considering who he is. But
I mean, if you look at the top,
I mean, he definitely deserves more. But the way the market is right now, we was just talking about how the contracts are trash. $5 million is more than reasonable.
I mean, it's reasonable, but then I feel like the upper echelon of running backs are making 11 to 12. Well, not 11.
What?
And I think
Alvin Kamara is making 15.
I think he's making 11 this year.
Total. So his guaranteed is 11. But then 11, I think the highest paid is Derrick Henry or Christian McCaffrey.
I think that returning running backs.
Yeah.
Yes, it's actually a rookie. I think it's Bijan Robinson.
Yeah,
he's making 14 guaranteed.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. Coming in the league.
That's crazy.
He pulled him some NIL deals.
Right. So he got some DoorDash money. That's crazy.
But I get it though, because with the age of the running backs typically age out around. Previously, it used to be around year 7. Mm-hmm. I think that's pretty fair.
Yeah.
Around year 7, you'll see it. I mean, you see it with Zeke right now.
Oh, yeah.
I doubt Zeke is gonna get a starting job anywhere. He's gonna be a backup.
But he could be a starter in the right, in the right organization.
I think he could be a starter for the wrong organization. So somebody on the bottom of the totem pole.
I think he'd go somewhere like the Rams and be totally fine. I mean,
that's fair.
Battle it out with Cam Akers.
Cam Akers coming off the injury last year.
And that's what I meant by battling it out with him,
But I mean, I think you have to have that hunger to still do it. I mean, he signed the $100 million contract, and you didn't get all of it.
Yeah.
So it's not guaranteed.
This is the thing, though. When they renegotiated this CBA and everything, all this could have been discussed, like positions and how much the market is dictating for them.
Yeah,
all this stuff could have been discussed. Now it's like the owners of the organizations are like, "Hey, we tried to make this work for everybody, but y'all wanted it this way, and it is what it is. We don't think running backs are valuable enough."
But I feel like you can't treat the running back like the fullback has been eliminated,
right?
Because I feel like the running back is the engine that makes everything go.
But as the game evolves, though, like when's the last running back that that has single-handedly or maybe 80% of the time contributed to a Super Bowl in the last 5 years?
I mean, I think it's quarterback heavy.
Right.
But I think the problem isn't they're not getting paid is not just because of the contribution. I think it's mainly because there's a surplus. So it's the supply and demand issue. There are so many good running backs entering into the league. It's a bunch of them. Mm-hmm. Like, you have to look at it. Dalvin Cook does not have a job at this point in time.
Right.
So when you're looking at those things, bro.
But then I look at the reason why a team like the Minnesota Vikings might be comfortable with releasing a Dalvin Cook. You know what I mean? Like,
fair.
Or a team like the Carolina Panthers moving off of a Christian McCaffrey. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need a running back. What I need is a strong passing game, a good defense, and maybe a decent kicker, and then I'm good. I can at least get into the playoffs and have a shot. Yeah. But a running game ain't really going to make or break a team, depending on what kind of scheme you got. And a lot of coaches really nowadays are that air attack, West Coast offense kind of game plan.
I think a lot of, how could I put it, like teams like they adopted the Chiefs way of playing football.
For sure.
And they see that as winning football. But the thing is, everybody has to understand, you don't have a Patrick Mahomes.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So if you have a Patrick Mahomes, sure, knock yourself out. But if your quarterback is not named Patrick Mahomes or Joe Burrow, you need a running back. Mm-hmm. Because I'm not letting most quarterbacks sit in the pocket and throw it 40 times.
Okay, but then let me do this then. So now you got this, basically influx of mobile quarterbacks now.
Yeah.
And then now you're dealing with they're taking 1,000-yard rushing seasons away from these running backs. So
because that
goes into like Justin Fields last year, didn't he go for 1,000?
Yeah, he went for 1,000.
Lamar Jackson is a 1,000-yard rusher. So
yeah,
you got all that stuff going on.
I mean, so with that, I think it's more you have to factor in that these quarterbacks are developing their passing game. Because with them being in college, it's excitement. They have to create plays. They're able to bounce around.
Stuff,
yeah, you can do that. But when it comes to actually being in NFL, the edge speed is too fast. It's like you have those Nick Bosas, you have those Myles Garrett's, you have those Aaron Donalds. They're back there.
Right.
It's quick, bro. Like I know one thing. We were I was looking at on social media. It was talking about like the Madden rankings, right? And everybody was perplexed why Aaron Donald is a 99. And like, but you have
the guy is a monster.
He gets triple teamed. He's been triple teamed 7 years in a row. Triple teamed. So when you think of those things, that's why the game is so different. Like you literally are having these mammoths,
right?
that have the speed of lions.
So if anything, if I'm gonna pay a running back, I'm just gonna pay him to be my extra blocker.
Pretty much.
So I don't need to pay you $30 million. I'm gonna pay you like a lineman.
You gonna pay? I mean, you gonna pay him like a lineman, or you gonna pay him
$10 million
like a fullback?
And you see where fullbacks are now.
I'll delete. Only one you got is one.
Taysom Hill.
Not even him. He played for the Niners.
Oh, use check. My guy, Juice. But he can do other stuff though.
You tried to forget about him. He tried to.
He fizzling out though.
I mean, getting older.
Yeah. He'd be the last running back in the league ever. Stay tuned for that.
We'll see. But I mean, pay them running backs. Stop playing with these men.
Depending on who you got.